Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So whether you're 7 or whether you're 70, the National Park Junior Ranger program is just pure fun. I'm going to talk about the program as somebody who's visited 42 national parks, and my kids have earned over 200 Junior Ranger badges. I've got a lot of experience with this. I'm going to go over the program. I'm going to go over some tips and tricks. I'm going to show you all the badges and patches that my family has earned over the years, and I'm going to explain why this is a program that you should consider doing with your family, or why you can do this even as an adult. So stay tuned. All right, so this is my family's Junior Ranger badge collection. Like I said, we have over 200 of these. Some parks are going to give you a badge. There's a plastic style. There is a wooden style. Sometimes it's going to be a patch. Like Badlands gives you a patch, or Gettysburg. But we have earned these. My daughter was 3 when she started earning her first one. And what's interesting about Junior Ranger is you do not have to be a child to earn these. And I'm going to go over all that, but this is just a brief look at our collection. At one point in time, we had a banner and we hung them on it, but at this point, our collection has gotten so huge, we have to use this kind of like large basket to hold them all. So you might see that basket of badges and think, well, I don't have the money to travel, or we're not going to be able to fly with the family this summer, or things like that. But what I want you to think about is think about national parks that may be in your state. So if you're a Pennsylvania person, you can go to Independence Hall. You can go see the Liberty Bell. You could go to Gettysburg. There's a number of different sites throughout the state. Steamtown Historic Site, Hopewell Furnace. If you're in Delaware, you could visit the First State Historic Site. So it doesn't have to be your like national park like Yellowstone. All of these historic sites usually have Junior Ranger programs. Some of the National Wildlife Refuges have them. Some state parks even have them. So don't feel like you have to travel really far to do this. You can do it right in your own state, your own backyard. There are historic sites and national parks everywhere. Junior Ranger program sounds like it's for children. And it is, but many parks and places and things, they have senior ranger programs, or they really don't care if you're an adult that does a junior ranger program. I've never done it myself, but I have seen plenty of adults turn in the junior ranger booklets. I think rangers just like talking to people. They like people learning about the park. You do the work in the book, they'll happily give you a badge. So that's something to consider. It's not just for children. If you want to get your badge or your patch, the first thing you want to do is as soon as you enter the park, go in the visitor center and get the booklet. Some booklets are very, very easy. Some booklets are going to take you a little while. And it kind of all depends on your child's age or your age. If you're over a certain age, if you're an adult, you're probably going to be looking at completing the whole book. If you've got little ones, maybe under 5, it might just be a few activities. But the best thing is to get the book first and look at what you need to do. Sometimes it might be a scavenger hunt. Sometimes you have to visit certain places in the park. But by making the book your first priority, you'll kind of get a lay of the land and figure out what you have to do. Another important thing to note is figure out when the visitor center closes. And if it's a big park, are you going to be going back in the way you came to hit the visitor center, or could you turn this into a different visitor center? And sometimes if you stop and you talk to the park, we were in Death Valley. We kind of got a late start of getting the Junior Ranger booklet, and they said like, hey, if you don't get it done, you could mail it back in, and they gave us some information to do that. So every park's different. Every ranger is different, but that may be an option as well. If you don't quite get it done in time, they may be able to give you directions on how to mail it back in. So just get the book first, get a sense of where you have to turn it in at and how much work it's going to take. Another tip I have is sometimes you may be able to download the book ahead of time before you even get to your destination and print it out. And this also gives you a sense of what you have to complete. In some situations, like we took an Alaskan cruise maybe about 5 years ago, and we knew that we were going to be able to get off at a port and we were going to visit the Tongass National Rainforest, and we knew we only had a few hours. So I had contacted the ranger. I had sent a self-addressed stamped envelope, and they sent me the booklet ahead of time so the kids could kind of start looking at it and they could start working right away and able to help them earn that badge. We were just there for a short period of time. So there's lots of ways to be creative about this. What you want to do is, a lot of times, this sounds crazy, but parks resources are stretched very thin. Sometimes they'll have the booklet for you, but they won't have anything to write with. So make sure you bring pencils, and then we also keep these like little twistable crayon things. These are really great because sometimes in the booklets you have to color or you have to draw things, and having some crayons and things makes it a little bit more creative and a little bit more fun. The other thing is there are also some specialty booklets. So for example, there may be a junior ranger program at like Yellowstone or Yosemite or a place like that, but there's also junior ranger programs for unique subjects like the Night Explorer. So this is all about learning about stars and constellations, and these booklets can often be downloaded and then turned into certain parks that carry the badges. So my kids earned this one at Dry Tortugas, which is like a fort that's located off of Miami, and you have to get there by a ferry. Really, really beautiful park, but that's where they turn this one in. Or there's things like Junior Archaeologist, or there's a Junior Birder program, a Wilderness Explorer one. So you can really nerd out with this. They've got badges for everything and all kinds of topics. So we've gotten to the point where we have so many of them, it's pretty hard to display. But at one point in time, I had made like a fabric banner, and the kids used to put all their pins on them. My kids also had Junior Ranger, like little vests, but then they quickly outgrew that really fast with all these. But there's a lot of really fun ways that you can display these, and it really helps you remember your trip. And I really think that when you complete a program like this, you're really going to learn so much more about the park than you would just kind of hiking and exploring it. So for example, like here is the Big Bend one. So this is super fun for kids to do a scavenger hunt and go through all the different things that you're going to see in the park. And then there's some things about learning about plant life. And then just like things like general advice. What do you do if you run into a bear or a mountain lion? So the topics in here are going to be really interesting. And a lot of rangers have told us this is not just for the kids to complete. You can work on this as a whole family, because a lot of times kids are going to need your help. They want everybody to work together. They want you to learn. They want you to have fun. So if your child gets this book and they're struggling, pitch in and help them with it. There's no harm in that. So every year during National Park Week, which is in April, they have a special Junior Ranger Day. And if you look at a lot of your local historic sites, a lot of your local national parks, they're going to have special activities, special programs, all kinds of things to celebrate Junior Ranger. So that's something seasonally that you should check out if this is something you're into. Another really cool thing about the Junior Ranger program is that it gives you a chance and your family a chance to talk to national park rangers. You kind of get a sense of what their job is like, and a lot of times they'll tell you kind of like hidden gems, what their favorite trail is, what type of wildlife they see, where they're from, what their job's like. It inspired our kids so much when my daughter was in preschool. She decided she wanted to be a park ranger for Halloween. We got her the costume. They found it really, really inspiring to talk to some of these rangers, and you really learn a lot from them. So like I was saying, the badges can be wooden, they can be plastic. Sometimes they're unique looking, like this one's from a wildlife refuge at Merritt Island, and it's got a unique look to it. And then of course, sometimes you're gonna get a patch, and the patches can really vary in size. Some of them are huge, some of them are smaller. And you know, these are from a variety of, like here's Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. And then like here's Lake Mead. And so you can really get these all over. And it's just a lot of fun to collect these and learn. It's a great activity for kids to learn more about the parks and to care about the parks. Also, just one other thing I want to mention, I just think it's a really important time to stand up for our national parks, to show that we care about them, we want to visit them, we want to make sure that they're funded and that they're staffed properly and that they're there for everybody. So just keep that in mind as you visit this summer. Make your voice heard. Let people in your community, let lawmakers, let everybody know if parks are important to you. So whether you're a curious kid or a kid at heart, be sure to check out the Junior Ranger program this summer. Like I said, find your local wildlife refuges, your local national historic sites, places like that. This makes a great summertime activity for kids. You might also be able to do some of these online and mail them in. There's different rules and regulations for different places, but some of them have an online program where they might send you a sticker or things like that. So you could look into that as well. But yeah, if you find yourself visiting a national park this summer, be sure to check out the Ranger program and get started on your Junior Ranger badge collection. It's kind of crazy how many we have, but this has just been a great learning activity for our whole family and especially our kids. Now they're teenagers, they're not that into this anymore, they don't really want to do this, but we sure had a lot of fun along the way. The other thing I want to mention too is if you have a fourth grader, be sure to check out the Every Kid in a Park program. When our kids were in fourth grade, it was awesome. You can get a free national park pass. So this is a really great thing to do in the summertime, and you can visit a lot of the parks that are near you. So look into that free program if you happen to have a child in fourth grade or going into fourth grade. Thanks everybody for watching. Be sure to let me know, have you ever earned a Junior Ranger badge, whether you're an adult? Have you ever been with a kid who's earned one before? What do you think of the program? Let me know.